further ado, should we go in with 2014?
Yeah, man.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So, the Game of the Year winners in 2014, there was 5 nominees, I want to say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 nominees. The amount of nominees, interestingly, I'm going to start with this, does change. I think it goes up to 6, but at first they only did 5. So, the nominees were Dragon Age Inquisition, Bayonetta 2, Dark Souls 2, Hearthstone, and Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. Now, I have only played a few of those. I was wondering if you've played any, if not all. I had only played a couple, put it that way, so it's hard for me to comment on. And remember, 2014 is a hard thing to do.
I think the only one of those I played, because the only one I played there was Bayonetta 2, but I didn't play Bayonetta 2 until it came out on the Switch, so it was quite a while. I think it's like 2018 is when I played it.
Yeah.
That's because I got my Switch when, like, the end of 2017. That's when Xenoblade 2 came out,
right? We'll get to that. Funny you mentioned that.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
I heard nothing.
Yeah, I think it's only Bayonetta 2, and I played Bayonetta 2 quite a bit. But I haven't played any of the other games.
See, I've played a bit of Shadow of Mordor. Actually, I say a bit, I beat that game. Played quite a lot of it, just not for a long time. I played a lot of Hearthstone. Like, a lot of my World of Warcraft knowledge comes from Hearthstone, because I love my tabletop card games, you know how I am. I played Bayonetta 2, enjoyed it. The less said about Bayonetta 3, the better. No, I had to get that in there. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had to get that in there. But I haven't played the Game of the Year winner, interestingly, which was Dragon Age Inquisition for 2014. It won it in 2014, and I have not played a Dragon Age game, any from the series. I've never played any of them. I know that one was meant to be the peak of the series. People say the modern one, or modern ones, aren't as good.
Yeah, I've never heard anything good about the new ones, but the Dragon Age Inquisition, I know a lot of people, because that's kind of when I was playing. I was like the early days of Final Fantasy 14, because that's when I bought it on the PS4, 2014 as well. Yeah, a lot of people were talking about Dragon Age Inquisition at the time. Like, whereas like now, anyone that brings it up are just like, you remember Inquisition from 11 years ago?
Way back when.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've not played many of them either, so it's hard to comment on specifically this time around. And that will probably be a common theme. But the one thing I want to go forward with here is that even if we haven't played the Game of the Year, we will definitely then have an opinion on what we think should have won it instead from a game that came out. Some of the other games that did release that year, that at least I've seen, are The Evil Within, Five Nights at Freddy's, I know that was popular, The Binding of Isaac Rebirthed, Borderlands pre-sequel, Mario Kart 8, to name a few. So there's quite a few good games that came out that year. I know I have my strong opinion on what should have won, and I know we have previously discussed it, but are there any games that you know of that came out that year, or from the ones I've said, that you think should have won?
So, like, I think we talked about this before, but, like, okay, so Mario Kart 8, fantastic game, really, really good, very, very good. But the original one on Wii U falls quite short compared to the one on Switch, but at the time, it was a good game. I don't know about it being Game of the Year, but definitely worthy of recognition at the very least. As for Bayonetta 2, I mean, for me, I think Bayonetta 2 probably should have been Game of the Year, because, like, yeah, okay, Bayonetta's story's never been amazing, but the gameplay is unmatched. Like, it's such a, like, it's so snappy. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. Like, at least compared to the first game, like, the combat just is so good that you feel like you're just gliding through and just destroying enemies.
It feels good, right?
Really,
it feels good to play. I do get that.
Like, even even compared to the first game, like even when you're switching between weapons as well, and like it's just snappy. It's good. It's just quick. It's on the fly, and yeah. Again, like the first game, I think you have to kind of like go into the menu, select it, and then you could use it, and you can only use 2 at a time. Oh no, I think you use 2 at a time on Bayonetta 2, but it's just the way they implement it's a lot better from what I remember. I haven't played it in a while, but I just remember I played it quite a fair bit to the point where I was doing it without I was doing that mode where you don't have the witch time.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I never went that far, so credit where credit's due. Um, but it was a damn good game. I really do agree with you. Fun to play. Amazing soundtrack, by the way. We should definitely mention that. Bayonetta 2 had an amazing soundtrack.
Yes, it did.
Out of the nominees, my heart says Hearthstone because of what I am into personally. And it's a very good card game. I mean, it's still running to this day. Very popular. So I think for a card game to be running 11 years when it's online only does say a lot. But I think it's running in the modern day, just to quickly tangent, because of a mode called Battlegrounds on it, not because of the core game. But that is a topic for another time. I also think Bayonetta 2 I personally would have had over Dragon Age, but
yeah,
you know, that's a strong bias from us two there. If I had to pick a game from anything, like any how do I word it? Not nominated, but just a game that came out this year. 2014. I would have picked The Evil Within or Mario Kart 8. But Mario Kart 8 is simply because of it becoming deluxe and continuing. I think the core game itself wasn't changed. That was still the same, very much the same game.
Yeah, still
it just
the same.
improved massively with deluxe and then the DLC packs. That game just kept going, and rightfully so, because the core game was so good. And then The Evil Within was phenomenal. I mean, if you haven't played it, that's one of those games that's worth going back to. It is that good.
I've heard about it, but I've never watched any gameplay of it.
It's really good. If you like Resident Evil 4, it feels very similar to play.
Okay.
It's
slightly
more on the horror side, but it's still definitely horror action, fast-paced, really, really intense. Great game. Genuinely, really, really good. So, what, does that settle as... If you have to pick one, what, are you settling on Bayonetta 2?
Yeah, for me.
I think that's probably a very good shout because it's in the nominees. I'm going to go a bit rogue with my Mario Kart 8 shout, but I feel like I've justified it. If we're not allowing those reasons because I bought in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, then yeah, you know what? Out of the nominees, Bayonetta 2, I will go with as well. I think it is a good shout, genuinely.
Because the thing is, with Bayonetta 2, they're basically like... I think the core game, when it was released on the Switch... No, hold on. They had Bayonetta 2, and then I think when they released it on the Switch, they released it along with Bayonetta 1 as well, as a free...
Yeah, it's a duo pack.
Game. Yeah. So, like, it's actually... So, on top of that, it being 2 games that you get for one as well, because they didn't increase the price of it either. And yeah, I know it's an older game, but it's still 2 games for one, and it ran better. They did. I don't know if they added any more content for Bayonetta 2, but it was still, like I said, I think like just in terms of it being on the Switch and be able to take it with you more so than you could do with the Wii U. Yeah. But whereas like Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are quite two quite different games.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I feel like it's one that I have to give a shout to because of the core game, but it does obviously get developed a lot. So yeah, that's our answers for 2014. But obviously, we have to keep going. 2015 nominations. This time around, I might get you to guess which one won as well. See, or you might remember. Let's find out. So our nominees for 2015 are The Witcher 3, Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid, Super Mario Maker, Bloodborne. It's Metal Gear Solid 5, I should have said, by the way. Metal Gear Solid 5,
I was going to say
Super Mario Maker, and Bloodborne. By the way, 2015 as a year is stacked. There are some good games. Much better than the 2014 nominations overall, in my opinion. That's obviously an opinion, but I think they are some good games there.
Okay.
Which one do you think won it? Or can you remember?
I think it's The Witcher 3.
You'd be right in saying so. It was The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt.
I think I vaguely remember it, and the reason why is because again, a lot of, similar to Dragon Age, a lot of people were talking about Witcher 3. In fact, like even Final Fantasy 15, a lot of the development team were playing Witcher 3, and that's how Final Fantasy 15's like open world kind of came to be as well.
I didn't know that. I really didn't know that.
Yeah, they were heavily inspired by Witcher 3. That's the reason why the game is so open. But of course, they kind of
fumbled
it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I won't go too far ahead of myself here, but there's a lot of games there that I love. Funny enough, the only one I've not played, and this is going to be a big surprise, is Super Mario Maker. I've actually played a lot of the others.
You mean the original Super Mario Maker?
I have not played a Super Mario Maker game. Not on the Switch,
at all?
not on the Wii U. No,
I am surprised.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the only one I've not played out of those nominees. I really like the rest of them. I mean, some other releases that came out that year, just so we can have them in the conversation, is a horror game called Soma. I really like that. Until Dawn.
I've heard the name. Yeah, Until Dawn. Yes, it was on PS4, right? It's got like it's one of the, is it David Cage that made that's like the producer of those games or something? Those ones where like you have to like you choose like a story path.
Yeah,
whatever,
it's
right?
a butterfly effect game made by Supermassive Games, I believe the company's called, but other than that I'm not too sure. There's Splatoon, the original one that came out in 2015.
That was
And
okay.
Call of Duty
so
Black Ops
late.
3. Black Ops 3 also came
Black
out.
Ops 3. That's right, because I played that a lot.
Me and you both played it. So there's a lot of good games. You know when I said 2015 was stacked? That's not a joke. I think that year is really good for video games. Across like Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, whatnot, there's a lot to choose from there.
Absolutely.
What I personally think should have won is difficult. One of my favorite games ever is The Witcher 3, like genuinely. And you know what? I'm going to stand by it. That probably should have won that year. But there are other games there that I love. That's why it's like, ooh, it's like a tug of war pulling at me. But Witcher 3 Wild Hunt will probably be what I say should have won as well. I agree with what the professionals say there.
See, it's kind of difficult for me because I've never actually played. I've not played any of the Witcher games at all, but
I've played 2 and 3, never played the first. I've been recommended against it, and I've actually followed that advice. So it might be a really good game, but it's not one I've ever played. But I loved the second. I played that with my granddad, out of all people. He's the one who introduced me to it. And then
what?
Yeah, I know, right?
Your granddad's a gamer?
Yeah.
So it's like an actual family tree thing then.
Yeah, a lot of my opinions, not a lot, but some of my opinions are regurgitated, let's say that much, and I'm like, okay, that must be good. But that's how I played Witcher 2, and then I got Witcher 3 soon after its release, and I loved that game, absolutely loved it, and still do to this day. I feel like it holds up really well. But outside of that, a game we've not mentioned that I hold dear to me, this is just a personal one, is Mortal Kombat X, that came out that year. I love that game. I think it's freaking awesome. One of the best fighters that I've played. It's definitely in my sort of like top 6-5 games in terms of fighting games. But there's some wicked games there. Bloodborne, I've only played it through once, but that, you know, the gaming opinion on that game. It's so good. It's so good. Metal Gear Solid 5.
People have been begging for it to come to PC for a long time.
Will it happen? Who knows? Who knows? It's one of those.
So.
It might be too far gone now for that to happen.
Yeah, and because it's not like even though it's a popular game, it's not a. Well, you never know because didn't Dark Souls and Demon Souls get remastered as well?
Yeah, they did get remastered. I feel like we're a long way from getting like Bloodborne remastered though. It just seems like something that might not happen yet. Who knows? I could get proven wrong, but that seems like maybe a next gen thing.
Yeah. Possibly.
Black Ops 3, well, definitely not Game of the Year. I understand this, right? Just from a personal preference, I liked it a lot.
While the multiplayer was, honestly, I really enjoyed the multiplayer. not more than Black Ops 2, but enough to get the dark matter camo for every weapon.
Wow, I definitely didn't play it that much. I just played a lot of Shadows of
Yeah.
Evil, I think it was called, which is the zombies map. That's,
Oh, the zombies
yeah,
map.
that's what I played a lot of. I like how the Pack-a-Punch guns look in that. You know, like the orange thread that it has along it almost. That looks so
Mm.
cool. But I agree, I didn't like it as much as Black Ops 2, and then I didn't like that as much as Black Ops 1. So,
Yeah,
but
and
the
Black
first
Ops
three are
One
good.
was the first game I played as well. The first Call of Duty game I owned, not the first one. But the first one I played was Modern Warfare 2. But
I
the
think
first
mine
one
was
I
World at
actually
War.
went out and bought. Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't play
Yeah,
World
so
at
it's still
War
part
when
of
it
the Black
came out
Ops.
though. Like I played it maybe 5 years later, just when maybe like 2011 I played World at War. But yeah, great game, great game. I loved it. Anything else you want to add to 2015? What would you have win? That's something that we've not
I
done.
mean, there's Final Fantasy 14 Heaven's Sword, which came out, which is the first expansion for 14. That came out in 2015.
See, I didn't know that. And is that what you would have for one of your runners up, or a potential winner, or is it just
I
need
think
to
more
shout?
just I think more just I think just more of a shout out. Like, you see, we were all excited for it, but then looking back on it, like the game was in a particularly the raiding scene was in a really bad state for quite a while. Like to the point that people thought the raiding scene was going to be killed off in 14 because the raiding scene was basically non-existent before then, and then Heather's Ward came out and. Oh yeah, the raids were hard. I think it took even the top raid teams nearly a month to beat the first raid tier that came out.
Damn.
The whole thing, and they had to, and obviously you had to reset it every week. But it took them 4 weeks to do that, which is ridiculous.
A
Whereas
very
like
long
now,
time.
yeah, whereas like now they do it in like a day or two.
Gets blitzed in comparison.
Yeah, but then you think about how much they've added to the game since then, but still, by comparison, like it's
A crazy
4
difference,
weeks?
yeah. It is a crazy
Yeah.
difference. But
Yeah.
what would you have as your winner?
What were the games we mentioned again? Just off the top of your head.
So for nominees, it was Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid 5, Super Mario Maker, and Bloodborne. Some of the games we've spoken about in general, Soma, Mortal Kombat X, Until Dawn, Splatoon, Black Ops 3, and obviously Final Fantasy 15. There's quite a few that, not 15, 14, quite a few that we've mentioned there.
You know what, Phantom Pain, like the real problem with that game is the fact that it was unfinished.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was a phenomenal game. Like
It was really good.
It was really good. Like in terms of like the amount of fun. Like when they said that it is like stealth reimagined, like that's not an exaggeration. Like the amounts, like I mean, it's stuff that I'm not really like a stealthy person. I do like the Metal Gear series, but I'm not really a stealthy person. But I used to watch Donkey make a few videos about it, and he had so much fun. You could tell, like when he makes those videos where he's not really talking a lot, and he's just kind of laughing. Like you can tell he's having a lot of fun with it, and he's just doing all sorts of goofy stuff I didn't even know that you could even do in the game. And it's just like that is what you call a game that is just actually reimagined what you like the possibilities they could do with that. But like I said, the only thing that really let it down, if it was a finished game, I would say that would have been Game of the Year. But just based on the fact that even when I played it, like it didn't really make a lot of sense how you kind of to the end of the game, it kind of derails because it was unfinished.
That's honestly why I don't consider it to be my winner.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would anyway of The Witcher 3, but I did really like Metal Gear Solid 5. Great game. Everything you said there spot on, to be honest. Just fun to play, and sometimes that's what you need in a game. It is just fun. If it wasn't Witcher 3, I think my runner-up is probably Bloodborne. I played that game through once. I did find it quite hard. I know a lot of people would claim this Souls-like games to not be hard. I found Bloodborne pretty hard. But I did it. It took me like a week
Souls
or two.
games are hard.
Yeah, it isn't easy, but I enjoyed my playthrough though. It was a good challenge. It wasn't like nowhere near impossible or anything, but I definitely had to play. I wasn't just brain off, you know, which is fine to do in a game. That was one that made me think. I think that covers it. So, no,
Yeah, pretty
just
much.
before we do, what would you have as your winner? That's
what would I have as a winner?
You can go with your head, your heart, however you want to approach it. It's all opinion. That's how video games.
I mean, I haven't played Mario Maker the original, but I have got Mario Maker 2, and again, it is one of those games where it's so fun. I mean, I did play it a fair bit, but not like loads. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of 1-1 with a twist.
No.
So there's this meme.
It's going to be a level meme, is it?
Yeah. So like 1-1 with a twist is basically Mario. It's World 1, Stage 1 from the original Mario, and the twist is basically there's just fireballs and everything everywhere. It's exactly the same level, but with all this stuff on it. Yeah, it's like I never beat it, but but me and a bunch of friends tried. I think it took us like 400 goes or something.
And
because you would die so quickly because you only have like 30 seconds to beat it, but you die in like 2.
One of those where you've constantly got to sprint, yeah.
Pretty much. It's not even just even that, like.
And insanely
hard. I'll show you the donkey video, and you'll know what I'm talking about at some point. But yeah. But yeah, I'd say Mario Maker. Yeah, for me, I'd say Mario Maker. As much as I like Splatoon 1.
2 improves it a lot.
2's a massive improvement over it, and I did play 2 quite a bit actually, So
yeah,
but yeah, I wouldn't say the first one would be Game of the Year, but definitely a good start for the series.
I agree with that, and I think Super Mario Maker deserves a shout. The amount of creativity in that game, and the endless possibilities jokes aside, you could do so much with it. So
yeah,
I think we covered those pretty well. That moves us on to 2016. This is going to be a conversation. So our nominees are Doom 2016, Inside, Overwatch, Uncharted 4, and Titanfall 2. They're the official nominees. Some other releases that I think just deserve to be mentioned: Dishonored 2, No Man's Sky, Final Fantasy 15, and Dark Souls 3. I haven't played Dishonored 2 or Dark Souls 3, but I just know from general discourse how good those games are. So I just thought we probably should have mentioned them. I have played No Man's Sky, but not when it was good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same here.
I did play Final Fantasy 15, which
it's nowhere like.
I'm glad it wasn't nominated.
Games, it's as much as I love Final Fantasy games, it is nowhere near Game of the Year or even to be nominated for it. Like
I'm glad it wasn't nominated.
Quite a bit, but I would not like in terms of like comparing to other Final Fantasy games from the past. And I know I sound like one of those broken record fans that are like, oh, nothing beats Final Fantasy 6 or Final Fantasy 7. No. Final Fantasy 15, like while it is a good game, compared to the older Final Fantasies, it's mediocre.
It's alright. So what I mean by that is
it's okay. That's it. That's the best.
It's genuinely amazing, to be fair to it, for the first half. And then it just slowly declines over and over. Like... And
the thing is, they had that whole DLC with the Royal DLC where they did massively improve it after it. But it's too little too late. And in 2016 is when I had my opinion of it.
And I also played the improved version, and the problem is that the improved version still has the major flaw to it. Chapter 13, that's all I'll say. You'll know what I mean when I say that. It's just such a shame. But yeah, out of the nominees, I have played Doom, Inside, and Overwatch. I've not played Uncharted 4, but I've played the first 3 Uncharted games, so I can gauge, how good that would be. And I've never touched the Titanfall series, so unfortunately I can't even talk about it.
I have Titanfall 2, and I've only played it for like half an hour, to be honest.
It never appealed to me, that's all.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a competitor to Call of Duty, because I think it's the same. I think it's Vincent Zampella, the two that started the original Call of Duty games, that made Titanfall, because they left Activision like ages ago, and they were like, oh well, we're gonna make Titanfall 2, and it's like, oh well, sorry, not Titanfall 2, Titanfall But Titanfall 2, yeah, I don't know.
It's definitely the weakest there for me. I think quite easily.
Yeah.
Like, I've not played Uncharted 4, but I appreciate how like good that series is. So I know without even playing it, it deserves to be there.
I think Uncharted 4 is Game of the Year, and the reason why I believe that is because Uncharted's always been apart. Well, after the first game, the games have been really consistent from what I know.
The
Because
second Uncharted, dude, is in my top 10 games ever. And that's like,
yeah,
I'm not going to sit here and rank them, but it's in there. Like, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves is such a good game. It's one of those games where if you've not played it, it's worth buying a PlayStation 3 and playing it, or getting a 4, playing the remaster. It's one of those games that's just so good.
see, I have the Uncharted collection,
It's
but
so
I've
good.
only played Uncharted 3.
Uncharted 3 is still amazing. I'm not going to sit
But
here,
not-
but 2 is, dude, Uncharted 2 is one of the best games ever made. But we can't talk about a game from 09 in 2016. So you think Uncharted 4 won it?
I think it won it, but it's not going to be Overwatch because I remember, like, as much as we love Overwatch, I think at the time, like, because it was still quite a new concept, and it was basically a salvage game for Blizzard. I know I know like a lot of people like the characters, but I just don't think it won Game of the Year.
Well, I don't want to embarrass you, but it won Game of the Year. I'm not even joking.
Are you serious?
I'm being 100% serious. I'm being serious. Overwatch 1 won Game of the Year. But, right,
What?
when I look back or think back to it, 2016, forget everything that happens after. When Overwatch released, to be fair to it, it was a game changer. That year, everybody who had access to it played it. Like, there was so many. It was the game of the year, regardless of whether it won it or not, or whether it's the best game. Do you remember, like, when that game came out, everyone was playing it. To the point where it was like Fortnite of that year almost, you know? Like, it was the Call of Duty of that year. Everyone played Overwatch. And obviously, we still play it to this day, so I'm not going to sit here and go. I'm not going to gush and make it sound better than it was. But in 2016, Overwatch, it was just a new huzzah to hero shooters, because we had Team Fortress, of course, but that never kicked off like Overwatch did.
Yeah, that's true.
And the characters really to this day, if you think about Overwatch or Overwatch 2 and you still play it like we do, yeah, we still play Overwatch, let's not get into that. But if you get into the characters, everyone remembers Reinhardt, Mercy, Tracer. These are the Soldier. These are the characters you remember. The modern day characters, while still very cool, and in fact they are very well made, they are not the original cast. I agree. So probably a deserved winner. Just before we move on,
yeah,
I think that in my head probably deserves it. Genuinely, I agree with them getting Game of the Year correct there because of its cultural impact.
Yeah, to be fair, even I played it in 2016 as well. I didn't play it a lot, but I did play it. I did buy it, and I was like, what is this weird game?
Yeah. Oh, at the time, it was weird. Hero shooter was a new thing for most people. Like, yeah, it didn't start the genre, but it definitely made the genre mainstream, right?
Yeah. So that's probably why. You know what? I didn't even think of it like I'm thinking about the game itself and how it functions, not necessarily its cultural impact. So
I think that's probably why.
I guess that's why. Yeah, I guess when you put it that way, yeah, absolutely, because it did change quite a bit. It did change. Well, it changed a lot of things.
Look at shooters today. I think Overwatch's influence is seen in Fortnite. Yeah, it's completely different how the game plays, but I think the influence is there. The skins and how that goes about. Like Overwatch's influence from when that started is there, you know? When you look at Valorant or when you look at all these other games, Marvel Rivals, that are doing so well and deservedly so. Overwatch's influence is there, right?
Yeah.
To give a quick shout out before we move the year, Doom 2016, awesome game. Genuine. Soundtrack
Agreed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Love the guns, love the violence. It's just, you know what it is? It's a cute bundle of fun wrapped up in a bow. I love Doom 2016. And Inside, if you haven't played it, really cool indie game. I can't remember the name of the studio, but really good. Also made Limbo, if you've heard of that.
I was going to say, are they... hold on.
Genuinely super fun experience.
I've
It's
definitely heard of the game before. Oh yeah,
it's a
with the
platformer puzzle game with like a
yes,
dystopian future
yes,
to it. It's pretty cool.
yes. I know that game. Yes, I do. So I
Uh,
just had to have a quick look.
no, that's fine. It
But
probably
yeah,
took me like 3-4 hours off the top of my head. It may have been longer or shorter. It's been so long since I played it, but it was a really good like evening. I enjoyed myself. Whereas I probably think it's the weakest out of those nominees. Maybe Titanfall 2, I'm not too sure, but I still really liked the game, so I'm glad it's our first indie game, I'd say, nominated. So it's nice to see that starting to happen.
yeah.
Should we go to 2017?
Next one.
The nominees for Game of the Year 2017 were PUBG, Horizon Zero Dawn, Super Mario Odyssey, Persona 5, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Right,
What
Zelda,
a year!
Right, Zelda got it. Zelda 100%.
So we're just going in for the kill with that one, yeah?
Yeah, it's Zelda.
It
Like,
was
just,
Breath of the Wild, it
yeah,
was.
yeah. I was
But
like,
how
I
stacked is
remember.
that for Nintendo?
Yeah, that's
for
crazy.
Nintendo,
There's
that's
a
a
lot,
good year.
Yeah, that's a lot of like Mario Odyssey as well. Yeah, yeah, that was the same year.
And then Persona 5, which I'm pretty sure came out on the Switch. I don't know if it did that year or not, but that's the year the Switch came out, so I don't know when it came out on Switch.
It didn't come out on Switch. It didn't come out on Switch in that year, but it is on Switch now.
Yeah. So it came out at some point, but like Persona 5, Odyssey,
Yeah,
Breath of the Wild, and I haven't played it, but I know how many people love Horizon Zero Dawn. And PUBG at the time, it was again
exactly
a
PUBG again revolutionary.
Phenomenon.
Yeah, because that inspired Fortnite, which
Yeah.
Fortnite now is completely taken over the battle royale genre. Still,
Yeah,
even now,
it will. That's the battle royale game, you know. But
yeah,
like that year, stacked, genuinely an amazing year. But I think I'm gonna give a major shout out to one of my favorite games ever that didn't get nominated, and I'm gonna make a really hot take. But I think I would replace PUBG or Horizon Zero Dawn with this. But Nier Automata, that game should have been nominated. I'm not saying it should have won, but
Right, so with Nier Automata, because I know we talked about it like years ago and how good it was, and like I'm pretty sure even you weren't sure that it was a good game until I was like, no, you've got to play through this game, because I didn't know how good it was as well, because I bought it I think on release and I didn't play it for years, and then I finally sat down and played it. I was like, this game is so good.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
thinking
particularly
about it,
the story,
it
like
gives me chills.
Like, why? Yeah, I've got goosebumps.
Yeah,
honestly, just thinking about it. Like,
100%.
honestly, like I don't know how. I mean, I've never played. Well, I have Horizon Zero Dawn, but I've not played it enough to really kind of know. I've played it a little bit, but not enough to kind of like compare it to Nier. But yeah, definitely. What was the other game? Yeah, it was Nier. Horizon and
I know it's harsh, but PUBG. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
cultural impact, I understand. I really do. But Nier Automata is that good a game that for me, it's in that conversation with Breath of the Wild, Odyssey, and Persona. It's that level of quality. I just don't think it was so as well known at the time. I think discourse with Nier Automata keeps growing. Like people are realizing how good that game actually is. Almost 10 years later.
No one really played it back in when it came out, and it's only like years later where people are like, oh my god, Nier is so amazing. It's only just like later now that people have just kind of picked it up and realized how amazing it is, and it really well and truly.
It didn't get nominated. Like, it deserves that nomination. Whether it should have won or not, I mean, personally, I'd have that or Breath of the Wild as my winner. Like, I love those games. Also, Odyssey. Like, any of those three, I don't care. Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and Nier Automata, they're all games that you could label 9s and 10s out of 10, you know? They are that level of quality.
But they're all, to be fair, apart from PUBG, I've played a bit of PUBG. I don't particularly like it, and I like Fortnite more than PUBG.
I think that's fair. Genuinely.
In terms of like the graphical appeal and the actual gameplay, Fortnite is definitely way better than it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. I've never considered to be even a nominee for Game of the Year because it's not that good. Okay, I know it inspired Fortnite, but I would never ever consider, like, just in terms of playing the game. I don't know.
It's a shame, isn't it?
I personally, yeah. Nier Automata, again, it's because it's one of those things where it's a bit of a stigma, where it's like, oh, because it's a Japanese game, oh, well, it like the story's going to not make a lot of sense to me because I'm a Western person, etc. So it's like, you gotta stop thinking like I think there's like a collective when it comes to a lot of those games. You obviously got like me and you and like a lot of other people that appreciate it, but I think the whole this game is Japanese, therefore we don't understand it is just really silly.
I can appreciate that there's a narrative complexity behind Nier Automata. It is not an easy game to understand nor follow, but if you give it the time and actually like read what's presented to you, it's like one of those games that changes your opinion on games.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, it shows you what a game can do. And by the way, that's only my first other release. You know how I've always had a category? There's so many other good games. Resident Evil 7, genuinely really good game.
Wow.
Came out in 2017.
2017?
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing game.
Been that long?
Yeah, crazy to think, right? But I loved that game. I went in with a stigma as well, right? I can fully admit when I'm wrong, and gamers do not like doing this, but I went in with a stigma. I didn't want to play it. I didn't want to like it because I was thinking first person, nah, I'm good. I love my third person over the shoulder or the classic camera angles from the originals. Loved it. Absolutely loved it, and I love Resident Evil 7 more than its predecessor, so that says a lot.
Yeah, Resident 6...
Yeah,
Let's just say about that game.
I like 6. I just don't think it's a good game.
You like the gameplay of it?
Yeah, it's fun to play, and I like the couch co-op. But
I've heard because it's actually sold a lot of copies now because people just want to play the game. They don't care about the story.
No,
the story sucks.
Yeah.
But the story's absolute trash.
It's
but
fun
the
to play.
actual gameplay of it is fun,
and that's why I don't mind it. Like, genuinely, I think people are a little harsh on Resi 6. A little bit. Like, it's not a good game. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's amazing. It's alright, though. It's not. It's a fun time.
Most games still have value, even if they're not like Zelda Breath of the Wild. They have value. Just you know what I mean.
I completely agree with you. Cuphead also came out that year. I'm yet to play it. Really want to.
That is a fantastic game.
Fantastic,
really
right?
Fun.
And that didn't get nominated.
Really good.
I would have that over Horizon Zero Dawn. I know that's harsh, but Cuphead's awesome.
No. Cuphead, right, is a like in terms of platformers. You know, I've gone on about how Mega Man 1 is. For me personally, is the hardest game I've ever played, and it's not even close.
It's difficult. It's to
like
the point of unfair.
Like Cuphead is basically Mega Man 1, but more fair.
I like that. That's unfair. Oh, sorry, Mega Man's unfair, but at least Cuphead, right? It's hard, but with good game design.
It is fair to a degree. It's fair. Like you will get through it eventually. Whereas like Mega Man 1, I had to use save states, man. It was so hard.
I can believe that. I mean, you know what? I've never beat 1. I did beat 2. I think I did it with save states.
Two is way easier than 1. 1.
I've never played
Put it
it.
this way, I will never play it again. Honestly, I only did it because I wanted to see. Like, but Yellow Devil. I know there's like tricks in terms of like how to beat it. Like you use the lightning thing, power up or whatever. You shoot it and then you press pause, and if you keep pressing pause, it will because of how the hitbox works with it. It will keep hitting it in the eye or something like that. I've seen videos of it. I didn't know about it when I played it. It wouldn't have mattered anyway because while Yellow Devil is a difficult boss, I at least played the game properly. I did save states, but I didn't do save states during the fight. So it was more when I was trying to restart the fights again, so I didn't have to redo and play the entire game again.
Yeah, no, I did the same. I literally did the same process, so I'm not going to blame you for it. But yeah, ridiculously hard series. 2 more games that came out. This is the 2017 stacked, holy heck. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I only put that there just so me and you can be like, oh, that's a good game. It is a good game.
That is interesting.
But yeah, it came out in 2017. It did really well, and the one good thing about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is that it made Xenoblade more mainstream, and I will give that credit. While it's, I think you might agree, my least favourite Xenoblade, I've not played X, okay, my least favourite out of the trilogy, I appreciate what it did.
Even though I've got X and I haven't played it that much, it doesn't count.
Not the core trilogy.
No, you're talking about like 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. So I'm glad
I mean,
Xenoblade 2 did that. I am, and it is a good game.
2 is a fun. You know what? It's one of those things where like it starts out horribly, like really. It's the start of like the first 10, 20, 30 hours of that game are actually diabolically bad. And once you get past it, it's such a good game. And it's like, you have to put yourself through 30 hours because it's a long game.
It's the tutorials. How they teach you to play the game is atrocious.
Yeah,
It would be better that they didn't even do anything and you figure it out because of how slow it is and how it's just presented. Text box, text. Oh, stop. Oh, it was atrocious. I completely agree.
Yeah.
But once you do know how to play the game, it's fun. That's how I feel about it.
Absolutely, I agree.
The last game to not, because I didn't want to leave it off this, the last game to mention that did come out in 2017 is Sonic Mania. While not,
has it been that long?
It's been that long. While not a game that I think should have been, I get why it wasn't nominated. I do, especially with the condition that Sonic was in. No one was gonna go near it. But it's an awesome game.
I've never completed Sonic Mania.
Right. Okay.
But
do it.
But no. I have played it, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just haven't completed it.
You need to complete it though.
Like, it is a good game.
It is awesome.
It is and considering how, as you were talking about the state of Sonic, especially how it was.
Because opinions change now. Opinion has changed because of games like Mania doing well. Frontiers, while not like an amazing game, was a good game.
It is a good game.
So maybe narrative
is
slowly changing. Yeah, I was a 3D Sonic game that was good, and it didn't have Unleashed in its name.
Yeah,
Whoa,
exactly.
What? That's crazy.
Now there's apart from Sonic Superstars, there's a lot of good Sonic games now.
Superstars is in a position where it's not
a bad game.
It's not bad.
But it's not great.
It's very 5 out of 10. And arguably, the bad games are going to be remembered more than Superstars. Because Sonic 06, at least everyone's like, that's the bad one. Superstars is no one's going to remember that in 10 years.
Yeah, it's. I think being forgotten is worse than being bad.
Oh yeah, Sonic 06 will forever be remembered. Probably it will be the Sonic game remembered more than most, if not all. That's so sad, but it's true. So we can keep it going. 2017, I agree with you. Breath of the Wild. I think Breath of the Wild should have won. And my runner-up, if I had to pick a runner-up, is either Odyssey or Nier. I'm okay with that.
I think both of them being on sort of the same level, because like Mario Odyssey is once again an amazing. It's not even just an amazing Mario game; it's an amazing game.
Every 3D Mario game, bar Sunshine,
it's solid.
Everyone can get angry at me. I'm gonna hold my hands up. Sunshine, there's moments of. Why do you think all the speedruns have so many glitches? Why is there so many bad levels? The pinball stuff. Apart from Sunshine, all of the 3D Mario games are awesome. Sunshine's fine. It's not a bad game. I'm not sitting here saying it's atrocious. It's not as well polished.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a system seller from what. See, now I only found out like a few years ago that it wasn't amazing. Well, I say it wasn't amazing. A lot of people liked it. And I thought a lot of people liked it.
I like it, but
I didn't. I didn't buy it.
Yeah,
but then I was in a weird state where like I didn't buy a lot of Mario games for a long time. Like, I think
it's weird.
For like I didn't buy any apart from Mario Maker 2 recently. I didn't buy any Mario games. I think the last Mario game I had bought from it, my mum got me 64 when I was a child. And I just didn't buy a Mario game because Smash doesn't count. That's just a fighting game. But like, I didn't get. Oh, well, that's coming up next as well. If I'm right.
Well, we'll get into that. But to quickly stay on that topic with you, I think that's the PS2 and how well that did. It was just better than the GameCube. That's not my opinion on the consoles. There's a reason it was selling. What I think only has the Switch beaten the PS2 in sales now. It might be the most sold console ever. If not, it's dead close between the two. But there's a reason why the PS2 did do that well. And obviously, Mario Sunshine was a 3D platformer. If you look at the PS2, it's got some of the best 3D platformers ever on there too, right? I'm not going to sit there and name them all, but I mean, one of my favourites, Jak and Daxter, came out alongside it, did really well. Ratchet and Clank, there's so many. Spyro, Crash, they're all on the PS2. So Mario Sunshine wasn't going to do as well when you had these games rivaling it. Whereas now the 3D platformer isn't as popular, so when they take their time to make a Mario Odyssey or a Super Mario 3D World, or when Mario 64 came out, these games were all revolutionary of their time. So the pressure is definitely, all eyes are on the next 3D Mario. Again, quick tangent, but how good does Donkey Kong Bonanza look? That looks like our 3D Mario for this game console.
It can't come soon enough. Honestly,
it looks awesome.
It's one of the reasons why I bought a Switch too. Like, I mean, not even for Mario Kart, but like just for Donkey Kong Bonanza looked interesting. And then they had that direct that absolutely blew Mario Kart Worlds direct out of the water, and I'm just like, unless they're gonna bring out loads of updates for Mario Kart World, there's no reason as to why it costs so much. And I mean, as long as it's like loads of updates. But yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza looks fantastic.
Yeah, we will do a whole video on that, I think, when it does come out, because it looks awesome. 2018, because we spent a long time on 17 there. We got some tangents going. We'll try and keep it moving. But 2018 nominees were Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Celeste, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Which one do you think won Game of the Year? There's some good games there, and also some weaker ones.
Hold on, say the games again.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Celeste, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, and Red Dead Redemption 2.
I think it was God of War that won.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, you got that completely right. God of War did win it. I'm yet to play the God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, but I understand they are very popular and probably with good reason. But I love the original God of War trilogy. So based on my knowledge on that, yeah, they're probably really good. I'm an avid lover of Celeste. Celeste is a
very, very good game.
Phenomenal indie game, and I'm just happy to see another indie game nominated. It makes me happy to see that. Spider-Man is the most meh one on there for me, alongside Assassin's Creed.
Really? I loved that game.
When I saw it, I was really just like, I want Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man 2 on Pizza theme back. I know it's not got that, so it's not going to be as good. You know, do you ever just have stupid opinions for some, that is mine. I was like, I'm not playing it. It's not going to have the Amazing Spider-Man 2 pizza theme. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey is also very meh for me. I know that's controversial.
Yeah, no. It is very meh. See, for me, Spider-Man, because I waited for a while. I remember watching the E3 trailer for it when they had it on, and I was like, this game looks really fun to me, because I just wanted to be able to swing around as Spider-Man, but in a game that was kind of competent at doing it, and
this really is the problem I had. The PS2 ones were good at that. The web physics were really good for its time, so that's why I wasn't impressed by it, because I was just thinking to myself, this was impressive 15 years ago. What, other than updated graphics and it's got a good story. I understand it's actually got a really good story.
That's probably why.
But for me, the game that should have won it, I've not even played, but I understand how good this game is. Red Dead Redemption 2 didn't win Game of the Year. What are we doing? I've not even played that game. I've not even played the first Red Dead, but I've seen gameplay, reviews, my friend's opinion, public discourse, and that game didn't win. Why? Yeah. Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be one of those games that everyone remembers. God of War did win it. When you say God of War, it's like, oh, which one? You never get, not in a bad way. There's already a 10 out of 10 God of War. So the fact that they made another 10 out of 10 is amazing, but it's not going to be... I'm not going to think of that God of War when someone says God of War, you know? I am going to think of the original.
The original.
So, in my head, I'm just like, everything to me points to Red Dead 2, and I've not even played it. My favourite game there is probably Celeste, but I just thought it was crazy, because that game got, I think, 98 or 99. It drew Ocarina on Metacritic, I'm pretty sure. That's how good that game actually is. I just think it's bonkers that it didn't win.
Wow.
Other releases that came out, I think the nominees are stacked. Really good. Apart from Assassin's Creed. I know it's a bit harsh, but the others are stacked.
Assassin's Creed hasn't been good for at least,
I miss Ezio.
11 years or so.
I miss
Yeah,
Ezio.
exactly.
But Subnautica came out. That was never going to get nominated, but I think people need to appreciate how good Subnautica is just as a game.
I've never played it, but I've heard about it.
Damn good. Really, really good. Spyro, the Reignited Trilogy, did really well. So I thought I needed a shout out. And the Shadow of the Colossus remake did really well, so that probably needed a shout out. But it is a remake, and that's the first... I'm not going to say yet, but we will get into that conversation of remakes. Because you'll notice the more we get into these... Like, technically God of War is the first reboot we've had announced, right? So the further we get into it, yeah, you'll see something happen.
Because I know Smash didn't get into the 2018 one because it released in December.
Yeah,
so, like,
don't worry, Smash Bros
like...
is coming.
Oh.
You'll see what I mean, it is coming. So just to clarify for everyone, because you've made a good point, if the game was released after the Game Awards but in that year, it can be nominated for the next one. So if Game Awards are on December 7th and the game comes out December 12th, it then is participating in the next lot of Game Awards, even though it is at the end of, say, I don't know, 2021, it could still compete in the 2022 ones. Should we go 2019?
Yeah.
Keep blitzing these out. We took so long on 2017, I really do apologise, but it's fun though. 2019 nominees: Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, Outer Wilds. See, I think those games are really good, but I've only played one of them.
What, Control?
No, Resident Evil 2.
Oh, really? So I've only played two of them. Control, because I have Control.
It's meant to be awesome.
And I have Resident 2 as well, which, I mean, I have it, and I played it with Pan as well.
Yeah.
So,
some other releases.
I'm guessing Resi 2 won.
It wasn't Resident Evil 2, but it did
It wasn't?
get runner-up. It got runner-up to Sekiro. I mean, that doesn't surprise me. I've never played it, but I know discourse around Sekiro is that it's a good game.
Isn't that basically a Souls game?
It's a Souls-like, yeah. It's like a fast-paced Souls-like, though. You know how the Souls games are pretty, not slow, but you can definitely take your time and make a judgment. Sekiro looks faster paced from what I can tell. Some other releases that came out that year, not all of them I've played, some of them I have. Disco Elysium, I know that was very popular. The first Atelier Ryza game, I need to check that out for myself, because it's got a big place in my heart. Devil May Cry 5, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Astral Chain. They all came out.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 was, that was 2019. Oh, good lord.
Yeah.
It was so old.
Astral Chain, I'm just going to fire through these. Awesome game. If you haven't played it, genuinely, Astral Chain is a sleeper.
It's very good.
For some reason, it didn't sell too well, so I don't know if we'll ever get a sequel, but it was so good. It's Platinum Games. So, and the combat, if you like Nier, it actually is surprisingly similar. It's really good. Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm not even going to dwell on this. Yeah, it might be weaker than 1 and 2, and I'm not going to talk about the others, but it's amazing still.
It's a good and fun game. It's just the story was a letdown.
Yeah, but it's
really
still not a bad story. We're just used to how good the first two were.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry 5, I'm yet to play, but I love the Devil May Cry series.
It's a good game. I mean, I have it, and I wouldn't say it was Game of the Year or even a nominee for it, but it is a good game.
It looks like a fun time, and I mean, it did win, interestingly. I'm pretty sure it won or got runner-up in the soundtrack category.
Right,
so,
not surprised.
I mean, there's value there. You know how we like a good soundtrack. Atelier Ryza, I mean, come on, I love that game. The Atelier series is mwah. And yeah, out of the actual nominees, I've only played Resi 2, but Sekiro won. I mean, that to me seems a little bit weaker than the other years we've had.
Yeah,
the
honestly,
nominees anyway.
I think for between 2014 and 2018, the games were genuinely stacked.
Yeah, like I thought 2014 and 19 have been the weakest 2 years so far. But as you said, 15, 16, 17, and 18, they were all stacked, like so good. Hopefully we can continue with some stacked years. Should we do 2020? The year that we'd all rather forget.
Oh boy.
Nominees. Doesn't mean it was a bad year for gaming though.
No.
Animal Crossing: New Horizons, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay, The Last of Us Part 2 definitely didn't win.
Unfortunately, it did.
What?
Yeah, it won Game of the Year.
No.
I think that is probably not the shout on this occasion. I would have said the game of that year. You know how he said Overwatch had a cultural impact?
Yeah.
I'm going to sound like a madman, but in 2020, Animal Crossing, genuinely, everyone was playing it.
Everyone played that
That's
game.
how people kept their sanity at times. Like, the cultural impact behind Animal Crossing, to me, makes that more of a game of the year than Last of Us Part 2, which was released with mixed opinions. Not everyone liked that game.
So many people complained about that game.
Exactly.
And I mean, complained as in they thought it was bad. They hated Abby in it. I've not played it. I've not played Last of Us 2.
I've not played it either. That's why I've refrained from saying
Last of Us 2.
Like anything too controversial. But I just remember it came with mixed opinion. So the fact it won Game of the Year is controversial, to say the least. Especially with how popular Ghost of Tsushima is. Again, I have not played Ghost of Tsushima, but I remember that everyone loved that game and still does. Animal Crossing was probably the game of 2020. I'm not saying the best game, but much like Overwatch, it was either Animal Crossing or Among Us. Like, for how the cultural impact in those years, that was when those games popped off. I'm pretty sure Fall Guys came out that year as well. That had a lot of cultural impact. There were so many cultural, so many games that are important to society in that year because of obviously the situation that we're not going to talk about because I don't want to bring that up. But they were so important, you know? To me, I just think that's really controversial. Maybe, I mean, Final Fantasy VII Remake was good, but it's a remake. It's a remake.
I think I've said this before. I don't like it as much as I think I should have done, and that's coming from someone that loved the original game. And it's not
the
to
original
say
game's
that
awesome, but it's a remake.
The original game is awesome, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I bought Rebirth as well, but I haven't
played Rebirth.
Sat down to play it. Yeah.
Also, it's not yet grabbing me to play it. It's one of those that I might play it at some point. You know what I mean? It's like at some point I might play it. Doom Eternal was very good.
It was. Well, I haven't played Doom Eternal, but I've heard it is a very good game.
I think it's very, very good. Maybe even better than 2016. It's close. They are both good games. But Hades, come on now. Hades is awesome. Oh, it's such a shame that
I haven't played it, but I know it's like one of the. It's similar to like Bastion. Those types of games, like the top-down action game, and I have seen gameplay of it, and it does look.
With how much I like The Binding of Isaac, you're probably not surprised that Hades is a game that I also really like. What do you think should have won in 2020? Because I think that is quite tough to choose one. By the way, again, it's your opinion, so do not feel bad.
I'm genuinely shocked that Last of It. I mean, I wasn't really watching the game. I probably might have seen like snippets of it, but not enough to kind of remember. I'm really shocked that Last of Us 2 won because, I mean, maybe the gameplay of it is still quite good, but the reason why people like The Last of Us in the first place was mainly for its story and not necessarily for its gameplay. Even though the gameplay was good,
yeah,
it was all about its world and its story, and The Last of Us 2 is just a revenge story.
Yeah,
I don't really know what else to really say.
It might be very good. I've not played it, but I just think because when it came out, some people hated it, some people loved it. I was just so surprised to see that it won. Nominated, I think, is fair enough. Winning? When a game is that controversial, that's the key word to use. It was a controversial game when it came out. Yeah,
I'll say Animal Crossing probably should have won.
I actually agree.
You know what?
I genuinely agree, and that's so weird. I didn't think you'd say that, but Animal Crossing was so popular that year, and it's so unique as well.
Yeah, like see, even though I bought it, I have. It's one of those games where I've bought it on day release, by the way, and I haven't sat down to actually play it. But I've
It's
seen so
amazing.
many videos of it and so many memes and just so many people enjoyed that game. I'm shocked that it didn't win Game of the Year
Did you ever see the
compared to
memes
Last of Us 2.
of Isabelle and Doom Guy? Like, because they came out the same
Yes,
day,
yeah,
and they were like
yeah.
buddies back to back. I love the Isabelle Doom Guy memes. Yeah, it should have won.
See, it's
Animal
things
Crossing
like
should have
that.
won.
Like Last of Us had none of that. Why did that win?
Yeah, it's
That's it's like that. It's like that meme where I don't know if you've seen it, where there's this painting, there's this drawing competition of like two different dog pictures, and like the runner up is clearly a much better picture than the one that won.
It happens a lot though, and I mean that's why you've got to take the Game Awards with a grain of salt. That
Yeah,
sometimes it is just a popularity contest, not how good the game actually is.
and
Um,
this is why I don't like Eurovision.
and there's a lot of things that are like that. But yeah, I don't think it should have won. Nominated, I think I agree
No,
with, but that's where it should have stopped. Animal Crossing, I'm cool with. I
yeah,
agree with you. Uh,
yeah.
2021. We're getting more recent now, so it's easier to remember things. Because when it was 11 years ago, 10 years ago, I was like, trying to remember, take my mind back. Because I definitely didn't watch the Game Awards. It was more just remembering the games, you know? But
Yeah.
yeah, 2021. We have It Takes Two, Deathloop, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village, or Resident Evil 8. I genuinely think that's one of our weaker years again. I know that's really harsh, but for
No,
me, I
I
just think
mean,
that's kind of weak compared to some of the other years.
yeah. I mean, I liked Metroid Dread, and I've played through it multiple times. It's definitely the game I've played not the most, but I played quite a few times during 2021.
It's a
And I
good
still
game.
go
It
back and
doesn't come
play it,
across as
but
a Game of the
it's
Year
not a
winner.
game of the year. No, I feel like it was one of those things where it's like, oh, we got to fill the spaces, so Metroid Dread goes there.
I feel like it was
And
good.
again, it's a
Even
good game.
nomination might be generous. Like, it's a very
Yeah,
good game. Okay, that might be harsh. Nomination's fine, but it's not a Game of the Year.
no,
Uh, the game that, well, what do you think won it? Again, I don't have
probably
a lot of
Resident
information,
Evil.
but no, it was It Takes Two. It Takes Two won it, which is kind of cool because I think that came out as an indie game. I've never played It Takes Two. I sort of want
Let's have a
to.
look.
It's a it's a good game.
Oh,
Much.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a
I've
couch
seen this
co-op.
here
I think you can
before.
do it online as well. It's you need to wait for one player. You need to play at the same time. Very popular when it came out, and I'm fine with it winning. I just literally don't know enough about it to comment this time around, other than what the core premise is.
I can't say, even just from looking at it, I can't say that is game of the year for me personally. But then,
I reckon it's one of those that's just seriously fun couch co-op, and as couch co-op is
yeah,
dying, in the part of me is like, yeah, a game like this fun couch co-op one. I'm just kind of happy with that.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, just heard of Deathloop, and Psychonauts 2 I know nothing about, so that's why in general 2021's kind of weak for me individually. But games
same
that came
here.
out that year, I mean, there's one that I feel that I've got noted down that I think you'd appreciate. Near Replicant. That did also
Because that honestly, if people like Nier Automata's story, from what I know, people love the first game story, but the gameplay is not as good as Nier Automata.
Replicant fixes the first game's issues, but it's
Yeah.
not as good as Automata still.
No.
But it did win Soundtrack of the Year, Replicant. So I'm
I'm
glad
not
it finally got its flowers, because Automata didn't, and that's definitely got a stronger soundtrack. But no,
Yeah.
Replicant did at least win the soundtrack. Not my sort of game, but Forza Horizon 5 was very popular that year. And I'm just saying this, it's nowhere near Game of the Year, but I tell you, Horizon 2 came out that year. So I'm just going to point that out. Thank you for listening to that part. But yeah, 2021's kind of just meh, so I'm cool with moving on if you are.
Yeah.
2022 is rather interesting, though. Horizon Forbidden West, A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Stray, and God of War Ragnarok.
If they're all nominees. By the way, it's Elden Ring that one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, no.
I was so sad when that happened.
Yeah, no. I know it's Elden Ring that one because that game, like, just
took a while for it, to be fair.
Yeah,
it did.
Like, for how amazing it was, there's also like controversy. Like a lot of a lot of YouTubers got how do I say it? I guess stalked by this guy that basically gave it a really bad review for no reason. He never actually played it. He just gave it a bad review.
Oh,
and it's like as we found out like later, yeah, it's like it turns out that this guy is a total psychopath.
Well, I mean, yeah, I didn't know that.
And then
yeah.
it's the YouTuber in name. His name's called Quantum TV. Like, there's been just so this guy. Honestly, the amount of videos I've watched about this guy, he just sounds like a maniac.
What's the point on hating something that hard? I mean, I'm yet to play Elden Ring. I really want to. I enjoyed Bloodborne, but because Xenoblade is arguably one of my favorite game series.
He tried deleting the videos that he made about it, and people just obviously would use like the Wayback Machine or these other things to get the footage for it, because it's like, yeah, you can't just put something on the internet like that and think you're gonna get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, the Elden Ring is an amazing game, just one I've not played. So that's why I get what you're saying right now. It's one that I probably will play one day. I think I'd enjoy it. And God of War Ragnarok, as I stated earlier, I never played it, but that was runner-up. But yeah, I wanted Xenoblade Chronicles 3. This is the first Game Awards I ever watched. And I remember I tuned in because Xenoblade Chronicles 3 got nominated. I was there like, okay, I'll watch it. Because I love that game. I think it's fair. If I had to speak with my brain, Elden Ring should have won that. And that's speaking with my brain. With my heart, Xenoblade 3. But I also just think if you haven't played Xenoblade 3 and you're like, oh, what are these two men on the internet talking about? Just hold up for a second, right? It is genuinely an amazing experience. It's one of those games where I do think it's worth your time. From start to end, it's a joy to... Well, it's really sad. But it's a great time. It's not a joy to play, to be fair. You have to be quite emotionally invested, and then when you are emotionally invested, it rips your heart out. But it's a great game. And obviously, God of War Ragnarok, I remember how popular that game was when it came out. So yeah, some amazing games there. Other releases that came out that year, Sifu. That was an indie spin-off. That was meant to be really hard, a lot of fun.
I've heard about it, but I've never played it. Same.
But it's meant to be awesome. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That won the Family Game of the Year for that year, so thought it's worth mentioning. Callisto Protocol. Don't have to say that very well, but I've heard of, and it's meant to be very good.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one is because it came out as a bad game and we play it, Overwatch 2. Came out in 2022. Oh. I'm not going to linger on that for too long. It's fine now, by the way. But when that game came out, I was fuming. I was so angry. To the point I said I'd never play it again, and here I am. So it shows that damage can be fixed, but man, that was awful. The next year, 2023, I think is one of the best years of gaming ever. When I looked through all the game nominations, this one, dude, is so stacked. Do you want to hear some good Game of the Year nominees?
Yeah, I think I watched it with you.
I can believe that. I reckon you did. So we had Alan Wake 2, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Dude, right, I'm not saying all of those games are for me, but whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
That's a really, really good lineup, but I'm pretty sure it was TOTK that one.
That came second.
Oh, wait, what?
That was runner-up. It was Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, hold on. It won some category. I can't remember which one.
It was action-adventure game that it won.
But not as like an overall. Okay.
It came second, so Baldur's Gate runner-up. But Baldur's Gate 3
Baldur's Gate 3. Now, I have next to no knowledge about Baldur's Gate 3, but from what I've heard, like in terms of like his RPG mechanics and everything, it is basically like actual D&D, and from what I know, like in actual D&D, it's one of those things where you can run wild with your imagination what you can do as long as you can get the rolls for it, and it's pretty much a similar thing with Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, I mean, I've never played it. I only have Baldur's Gate: The Dark Alliance, I think it's called, which might be the first one or a spin-off. But I bought it because of how good Baldur's Gate 3 looks. I think it's one of those games that I will thoroughly enjoy when I eventually get around to playing it. I just wasn't in a rush to play it when it came out. That's my genuine opinion, because it looks very good, but I don't think it doesn't look as good as some of the other games there to me individually. I mean, Tears of the Kingdom, wow. I didn't know they could make Breath of the Wild better.
Agreed. The amount of time I spent playing that game.
Yep. Don't get me wrong, I think Breath of the Wild had more of an impact on me because it was the first experience, but Tears of the Kingdom is the better game. That's how I stand between them two, so I'm fine with... If someone said they preferred Breath of the Wild, I'm fine with it. If someone said they prefer Tears of the Kingdom, I'm fine with it. They are amazing. If you haven't played them, go buy a Switch. Just do it now. Screw this video. You'll have a better time playing Tears of the Kingdom, you know what I mean? Spider-Man 2, I mean, I stand by what I said for the first one. It's very good. I didn't play it, but people liked it.
Either.
It's possibly the weakest one there, though. That's a weird thing to say, but it's the weakest nominee. And actually, by quite a long way, it's the weakest nominee. Because not enough platformers get recognition, but Super Mario Bros. Wonder was that good. It was
a
good.
Very good game.
Amazing
it is a
platform.
very good game.
Yeah, I agree. That platformer, dude, was crazy. Did you end up beating Super Mario Bros. Wonder?
I did beat it. I did do some of the extra levels, but not many of them. Yeah. I need to get around and play it at some point again, because it's been a while since I played it, but I did play it quite a bit, and it is a very good game.
Awesome, man.
Very, very good.
So well made. And I mean, I didn't play Alan Wake 2, but I loved the first. I can imagine it's just as good. It's meant to be awesome.
I remember Alan Wake, like, a lot of people kind of talking about that game, but then when I actually saw it, I'm like, was that really a Game of the Year nominee?
It's meant
I think
to be
it won
awesome.
some categories as well.
Yeah. I think it probably won third most. I want to say Baldur's Gate 3 won the most categories, then TOTK. But I'd say third for that year was Alan Wake 2. The reason why I've not touched the elephant in the room, which is Resident Evil 4, is that I love Resident Evil 4 Original, and I love Resident Evil 4 Remake. But remakes need their own categories. I don't want to be the sort of gamer that endorses remakes, because if a remake gets into the nominees, someone else can look at that, think, "Ooh, that idea from 20 years ago, what if we just made the game have better graphics? We can get money," you know? I don't want to endorse that.
And considering the state of the games industry, like, it's in, not necessarily indie games, but for like AAA studios, like, just all of them seem to be well, apart from indie studios and Nintendo, all the others seem to be really struggling. Like, I say struggling, but it seems to be sort of slowly imploding on itself, because I mean, they keep laying people off, they keep closing down a lot of, like,
there's
Microsoft
the odd company that's doing well. I think the ones that aren't doing well we'll know about, because you've got the companies that are doing well, like Naughty Dog are doing fine. They're doing well because their games are healthy, they're well made, put together. Rockstar are doing well, but then you look at, I don't know, Ubisoft, and it's not doing well. Like, just to give examples, by the way, I'm not picking on any particular company. I mean, Ubisoft made Rayman. I love Rayman. There you go, I've defended myself. But, like, yeah, I completely agree. The gaming industry is in a weird position. But I don't want to endorse unfinished games or remakes in the Game of the Year awards.
Exactly, and neither do I. And the thing is, it's not to say that, a remake of a game is bad or not deserving of attention, but it is a remake of a game that has already been made.
Make it a separate category. It's that simple.
Yeah,
just a separate category.
The amount of remakes that come out, even in like a single year, you could easily just make a category for it.
Yeah, and Resident Evil 4 was the best remake of that year, despite Dead Space also getting a remake, which is a really good game. But it's its own category. It's not, I don't want to endorse. Because imagine if it won, then we're like, oh, you know, the amazing Resident Evil 4? Yeah, it won again 20 years later. Like, no, I don't want that. Even though I love the game so much, with all my heart, in fact, I love Resident Evil 4. But separate category, you know. And if we endorse that sort of thing, like, I remember Cyberpunk, right? There's so many fans of Cyberpunk because of the TV show, but because it has an amazing TV show, doesn't give the game an excuse to come out unfinished. That game was a buggy mess when it came out. Why are we endorsing a game like that?
And it came out from a studio that previously had a game of the year.
Yeah,
years prior.
I completely agree. Like, why are we
What happened to the
supporting
quality?
that? Yeah.
Just
I get they were rushed to make it, and it's probably not on the game studio, so I'm not going to sit here and... I don't have the information, but I'm not going to sit here and insult them. But my problem with it is that people talk about Cyberpunk like it's an amazing game, and it might be now, but it wasn't finished on release.
It wasn't. Like... And we should not... honestly, regardless of a game like patches itself out of oblivion and becomes amazing eventually... It released in a bad state. It's the same with Overwatch 2 as well. It released in a bad state. Like, I love Overwatch 2, I really do, but it's unacceptable. And we're gonna put our foot down and just say it's unacceptable. You, like, at least release the game in a playable state.
Completely agree.
And that's what it has to be, and that's how, like, we need to put our foot down for that kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's all great that No Man's Sky like is one of two games that really released like in a really bad state. Other one being Final Fantasy 14 as well. That also had a terrible release as well. And like, okay, I know they redid the whole thing, and it's amazing now. Well,
it is amazing. Yeah, it is meant to be amazing.
But like, but at the same time, it's just it's not acceptable, and it really isn't. And yeah. That's my stance on it. Anyway.
You are right.
Stance on it too.
Yeah, you are right, and you've worded it so well. I'm not going to even try and rephrase that because I completely agree with what you say. And it's just such a shame that we're in that position where we feel the need to talk about games in a sense that we pay for a full product. Oh, we just want that full product. Okay, when we go to the cinema and watch a movie on release, we don't get 3/4 of the film and then get the other quarter 2 months later. No. Like, and I'm not just picking on Cyberpunk, it's just the most modern and big one I can think of. But there's so many games that do it. Now, I don't want to get it twisted. Free updates are welcome. So say, like, Mario Kart 8 came out finished and amazing. Then it got better and better and better and better. That's okay.
That's different.
That is different.
Free updates are completely fine to, like, either add quality of life or just add more to the experience. That is completely okay.
Yeah, I agree.
And if anything, I would more welcome that more than anything. Smash did it, like, even though that was a complete game, they released so much stuff, like, within, like, the 2 year
completely free of charge as well, by the way.
Yeah, exactly, free of charge. Not even even with the DLC characters added, you still got free content on top of that,
and that's wicked,
like, quite constantly, and that's good. That's how it should be.
But yeah, I just don't think modern gaming, well, there's some good modern games, but at points where I look at that, I'm just thinking to myself, what happened? You know, it was not acceptable when you bought a PS2 game. There wasn't going to be a patch for it. No, you got the whole game. Sure, there were bad games. I'm not going to sit here and glorify every game, but you got the full game at least, you know?
And it just makes me think, like, I mean, and again, there were that's not to say that there weren't buggy PS2. There was a lot of buggy PS2 games, but not but by comparison to now, it's bad. It's like what they've kind of done is like, we can release games faster if we patch it on day one. No.
I'm okay. I don't want that. Yeah.
No, don't be patching it on day one. Look, I know we kind of don't have much of a choice. But now it's become the norm to do that, which it should never ever have been the norm in the first place.
I still look at Cyberpunk a lot. Cyberpunk got away with it, and people glorify that game, but I won't forget. That's why I blame that game a lot, because it came out as awful.
Yeah, same with No Man's Sky. Same with Final Fantasy 14. Despite the fact that I actually quite like those games, it doesn't matter. It was in an unplayable, unsatisfying, and quite honestly downright what's the word? Egregious.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, just it, like really well and truly just and
it's just
the thing is that I think just as the games industry as a whole, just like trying to just squeeze this in before we move on. Like, I mean, we're both passionate about the games, and we've talked a lot about how the state of it being in, and it's been mostly since COVID. Because I don't know if it's just because they took on too many people during COVID because they were all working from home. I don't really know, but just it's in the game industry for the most part is in such a shambles at the moment, and it makes me sad because it makes me worried. Like, I hope we don't have like another video game crash, and whatnot. But I think even if we did, I think
there's too much money involved for it not to happen, but it would fix itself almost, if you know what I'm trying to say.
But I think it will. I think the game companies themselves need to kind of step up,
Yeah.
in a sense, rather than kind of keep dialing back and just I don't know.
Time will tell.
Yeah,
Time will tell.
Yeah, exactly. Time will tell. But I hope like it's kind of stays that. But I hope it gets better before it gets worse.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good point to bring up. Perhaps another podcast episode. Other releases, just to quickly fire through them, because we spent so long in 2023, we won't really talk about them, but I'll just say games that came out. So we have Lies of P, the Dead Space remake, Street Fighter 6, Starfield, Final Fantasy 16, Fire Emblem Engage, and Atelier Ryza 3. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Nothing worth noting there.
2024, our last year. This one should be in recent memory for anybody that does follow the Game Awards. We have Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantasio. Other games that came out: Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Tekken 8, Persona 3 Reloaded, Princess Peach Showtime, and Hades 2.
What were the top ones? What were the nominees again?
Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of Erdtree, and then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Metaphor ReFantasio.
I think Astrobot won.
It did, and I'm kind of okay with it.
I remember hearing about it. Yeah, because it's one of those games where, from what I know, it has a lot of it kind of respects it's like the gaming industry as a whole, rather than just. And I think it wouldn't have won if it wasn't for the state of the game industry at the moment.
Yeah, it pays homage to video games and actually has respect, and the way it's made is almost in a really endearing way for the player if you get all the references. It's a lot of fun without it, but if you like really well in tune with gaming culture, it's a very rewarding game to play.
Exactly, it's definitely one for the games. I mean, I've never played it, but I have seen gameplay of it, and again, I heard about it. I think I did watch the game was when it won, but it was. I don't really know what else to really say about it. I mean, I'm glad that it won because like some newer games are good, but
honestly, not a lot of those games. So the only other two that stick out to me are Metaphor ReFantasio, meant to be an awesome JRPG, like amazing. So just because of my personal
Persona,
taste,
right?
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yeah. I think it's made by the same people, or at least some of the same devs.
Atlas.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but I've heard that somewhere. So if I've heard, that's probably true.
I think that is true.
And then Balatro isn't my kind of thing, but
I've heard it's a good game, and I've seen gameplay of it as well.
Likewise, so it looks awesome. So yeah, I'm kind of okay to end on a positive. Astrobot, on the flip side of everything we said in 2023, pays a bit of homage to the gaming industry, and that shows a bit more of a promising sign. The fact a platformer won it as well makes me really happy, because a lot of the same big Western studios with their grand stories, don't get me wrong, they're really fun and great, but it's nice just to see something that just focuses on fun win, you know? That to me, it makes me happy. Even though I've not played it, I was like, you know what, I'm glad that won. So I think they got that right that year. You know what? That was pretty successful. I think we tackled the Game Awards pretty well there. We did a good job of it.
We went for, like, what's 10 years worth?
Yeah, it feels like it now. I'm only joking. I had a lot of fun talking about it. It was really good. It was a journey. A lot of passionate opinions there. If you guys watching have any opinions yourselves, be sure to put them down in the comments. We'll both try and answer or respond accordingly where we can. If you disagree with our takes, we're not sorry, as it's an opinion. But at the same time, hopefully we can get some enlightenment on games we've not played. Because obviously it's hard for us to comment on certain games if we've not played them at all. We only have general discourse. But I feel like between us we've tackled a lot of those games.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, we did well. Well, be sure to like and subscribe, guys. We're going to be bringing these out a bit more consistently. The podcast format is one I definitely enjoy. It's a good time, just talking really. Talking video games.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll think
Don't
of
get a
another
chance
topic.
to do it too much.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to just sort of talk about a passion for a couple hours, you know? If you
Agreed.
have anything else to add, or do you think that's everything from you?
I mean, the game was definitely. I mean, I guess it's all depending entirely what games come out on those years, but you can tell when there's actual really high quality games. Like I feel like in the last couple of years for the Game Wars, have kind of gone, well, this game came out this year, so and a lot of people played it, so we'll just put it in, whether it was great or not.
Yeah. The only
So,
year
but
they
like-
got wrong was 2017, that's for sure. They got that year very wrong. But
Yeah.
I agree. It's hopefully the quality doesn't falter. Let's hope that they get it right this year.
Because there's a lot of good games coming out this year, so I am expecting.
Yeah.
I'm expecting it to be a lot better in terms of the quality of games, because there are quite a few that have come out this year that are remakes and brand new games as well. So,
Exactly. I think that's something we
we'll
could do in
see.
another podcast. Maybe do some predictions.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
have a bit of fun with the Game Awards this year.
for sure. Like, yeah, before Game Wars 2025 comes out.
We'll make that happen. Well, thank you for watching / listening, guys. We appreciate your company a lot, and hopefully it is something we can do again very soon.
Excellent.
Hell yeah. Take care of yourself, everyone, and we'll catch you again next time. See you later.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. See you later, guys.